For flu and colds. Milk and onion. Boil 250 milliliters of milk. Peel a medium-sized onion and grate it finely. Pour the boiling milk over the grated onion. Mix well and let it steep for 10 minutes. Sip slowly when you have a cold. Milk and garlic. Chop 3 to 4 cloves of garlic and pour a glass of hot milk over them. Let it steep for 10 to 15 minutes. Drink gradually over 30 minutes. Helps with flu, colds, sore throat, pneumonia, and insomnia. Milk and honey. Add 2 tablespoons of honey to 1 glass of hot milk and stir. Take 2 to 3 times a day for colds. Onion and sour cream. Eat finely chopped onion with sour cream 1 to 2 times a day. Honey and garlic. A popular folk remedy for flu is a honey-garlic mixture. Grate peeled garlic and mix it with honey, preferably linden honey, in a 1-to-1 ratio. Take 1 tablespoon 1 to 2 times a day, washed down with warm water. Be sure to take it before bedtime. Black currant berries. During the flu, eat and drink black currant in any form. Recommended dosage: 4 cups of hot black currant tea, made with berries, jam, etc., per day. In winter or spring, cut black currant twigs into small pieces. A handful of twigs per 4 cups of boiling water. Boil for 5 minutes, then cover and steep for 1 hour. Strain and drink hot several times a day. At night, drink with honey. Black currant liqueur. To make black currant liqueur, pour 1 cup of black currant berries with 1 cup of vodka or 50% alcohol. Add 1 cup of sugar syrup. Let it infuse in a dark place for 30 days, or longer, shaking occasionally. Take 1 shot glass at a time for colds. Alternatively, add 1 tablespoon of liqueur to a glass of hot tea and drink. Note, obviously, this remedy is not for children. Black radish and honey. A. Grate black radish finely and place the pulp in damp cheesecloth. Use it to rub the patient's entire body. This should be done in the evening before bed. After the rubbing, the patient should go straight to bed and wrap up warmly. Separately, grate more radish and squeeze out 1/2 glass of juice. Mix 1 tablespoon of honey, preferably linden honey, with 1/2 glass of boiling water. Once the mixture cools to a warm temperature, combine it with the radish juice and let the patient drink it slowly, while it's still warm. This method promotes sweating during a cold. B. Spread grated radish on a cloth and place it on the patient's chest or back. Cover with waxed paper and wrap warmly. Keep the compress for 15 to 25 minutes, adjust time individually. Calamus root, Acarus calamus. Infuse 2 teaspoons of calamus root powder in 1 cup of boiling water for 1 hour, wrapped in a towel. Strain and drink a 1/4 cup, 3 times a day, 30 minutes before meals. May be sweetened. Helps with flu, cough, and chest pain. Alternatively, suck on a small piece of calamus root, half the size of a pinky fingernail, for 15 to 20 minutes, then chew and swallow slowly. Do this 2 to 3 times a day, always before meals, 30 to 40 minutes prior, as calamus stimulates stomach acid secretion. Calamus root is especially helpful during infectious disease outbreaks, particularly for those suffering from chronic tonsillitis. Taking it for 3 to 6 months may relieve chronic throat issues. It's also recommended for people in large cities and during flu epidemics. Historically, calamus was used as a preventative measure during epidemics. Yellow mustard, Sarepta mustard. A. Mix mustard powder with warm water and apply it to a clean cloth after 15 to 20 minutes. Place on the chest or back, cover with fabric and wax paper, and wrap warmly. Keep for 10 to 15 minutes. Dosage is individual. After removing, wipe the skin. Use at night before sleep. Effective for colds, flu, and cough. B. Pre-made mustard plasters on paper, soak quickly in warm water and place on the back or chest. Leave on for 5 to 15 minutes. C. To prevent colds or at first signs, do mustard foot baths, 2 tablespoons mustard powder per bucket of warm hot water, or wear socks filled with dry mustard overnight. D. For stimulating circulation and easing mucus expectoration, doctors sometimes recommend full-body mustard baths, 100 g mustard powder per bath, if the patient has no fever. Note: do not apply mustard directly to the spine or below the ribs. Horseradish root. Grate horseradish and use as a mustard plaster-like compress. Remove as soon as burning is felt. For prevention after cold exposure or staying in damp conditions, apply horseradish compresses to the feet and lower legs. Horseradish mash wrapped in cloth can be used for rubbing the chest, sides, and back in case of colds and coughs. Runny nose. Tree aloe, Aloe arborescens, juice. For a runny nose, instill 2 to 3 drops of aloe juice into each nostril twice a day, morning and evening. Smooth elm. In May, cut 2-year-old shoots, remove the outer bark and carefully peel off the light green layer. Cut it up and dry in the sun. Brew 1 teaspoon per cup of boiling water. Wrap and let it infuse for 1 hour. Take 1 cup 3 times a day with anything. It helps with all skin diseases, foul-smelling runny nose, ear discharge, and syphilitic poison. Drink for a long time. You can also make drops. Infuse the light green part of the elm in a bottle of vodka or 50% alcohol. Infuse for 21 days in a dark place, shaking occasionally. Then strain and squeeze. Take 10 drops 5 to 6 times a day with water. Oregano, leaves and flowering tops. Grind the leaves and flowering tops into powder and inhale for runny nose and headache. Potatoes, root vegetables. Boil potatoes in their skins, drain the water. Cover your head with a cloth and inhale the steam for respiratory illnesses, including a runny nose. Onion juice. Soak a cotton swab in onion juice and place it in the nostrils for flu-related runny nose. Use 3 to 4 times a day for 10 to 15 minutes. Honey. Mix honey with water in equal parts and instill 2 to 3 drops into each nostril 2 to 3 times a day. Beetroot juice. Soak a cotton swab in freshly squeezed beet juice and insert into nostrils for 15 to 20 minutes, 2 to 3 times a day. You can also add 1/5 part honey to the juice and instill 5 to 6 drops into the nose 2 to 5 times a day. Boiled beet juice is used to rinse the nose for runny nose with thick discharge. Baking soda. Boil a pot of water, add 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Wrap yourself and breathe over the steam, occasionally adding another teaspoon of soda. Breathe as long as warm steam is present. If it's too much, stop. Do in the evening before bed. Used for runny nose, cough, and respiratory illnesses. Pine buds. Boil 3 tablespoons of pine buds in a pot and breathe over the steam, wrapped up, as long as steam is coming. Used for runny nose, cough, and respiratory illnesses. Hairy violet, herb. 1 teaspoon of dried herb per cup of cooled boiled water. Infuse for 2 hours, strain. Take with honey, 2 tablespoons 3 times a day for runny nose, cough, hoarseness, and cold-related headache. Mustard plasters. Soak dry mustard plasters, on paper, quickly in warm hot water and place on the heels. Keep for 10 to 20 minutes. Then remove, put on wool socks, walk around for 15 to 20 minutes, and go to bed. Do this at night. It helps stop the onset of a runny nose quickly. Table salt. Heat salt in a pan, pour into a canvas pouch, and apply to the nose. Keep it there as long as it stays warm. Buckwheat groats. Heat buckwheat in a pan, pour into a canvas pouch, and apply to the nose. Keep until it stays warm. Onion peels. Throw onion peels onto a hot stove or pan. Once it starts smoking, inhale the smoke for runny nose. EGG. Boil an egg hard, remove the white. Apply the warm hot egg white to the nose and keep until warm fades. You can also keep a whole hard-boiled egg, wrapped in cloth, applied to the nose until it stays warm. Do 1 to 2 times a day. Eggs, honey. Boil 2 eggs hard. Generously smear natural honey on the nostrils and place some honey inside them, if it's thick. Put a clean cloth on the bridge of the nose, and on top of it, place the warm hot boiled eggs near the root of the nose, next to the eyes, 1 egg on each side. Cover them with another cloth. Do all this while lying down. Keep it on until the heat fades. During this time, the honey inside the nostrils will melt and drip, flow into the nasopharynx. Used for treating a runny nose and sinusitis. Fever-reducing remedies. Marsh calamus, rhizomes. 1 to 2 teaspoons of root powder per glass of boiling water. Wrap and infuse for 2 to 3 hours, strain. Take a quarter cup 3 times a day, 30 minutes before meals. Used as an expectorant, sedative, pain reliever, for flu, and to reduce fever. Orange, fruit. Orange juice quenches thirst well during feverish illnesses. Lingonberry, berries. Lingonberries have long been widely used in dietary nutrition. They were given to feverish patients as a fever-reducing and fever-relieving remedy. Used fresh, soaked, as juice, syrups, or infusions in water. Black elderberry, flowers. 1 tablespoon of flowers per glass of boiling water. Wrap and infuse for 40 minutes, strain. Take a quarter cup 3 to 4 times a day, 15 minutes before meals during colds, as a fever-reducing agent in feverish conditions. Blue cornflower, flowers. 1 teaspoon of flowers per glass of boiling water. Wrap and infuse for 1 hour, strain. Take a quarter cup 3 times a day, 20 minutes before meals. Used to reduce fever in feverish conditions, colds, and coughs. Cherry, fruit. Cherries improve appetite and digestion, serve as a dietary remedy. Used to quench thirst during high fever. Has expectorant, antiseptic, and mild laxative properties. Smooth elm, field elm, bark. 2 teaspoons of crushed young elm bark per glass of boiling water. Wrap and infuse for 3 to 4 hours, strain. Take 1 tablespoon 3 to 4 times a day during fever and persistent joint pain, chronic rheumatism. Bilberry, berries. In traditional Jewish medicine, fresh bilberries are used to prepare vitamin-rich drinks and infusions. A decoction of dried berries is used to reduce fever and treat scurvy. Pear, fruit. A decoction of dried pears quenches thirst in feverish conditions, and has pain-relieving and antiseptic effects. Boiled and baked pears are used for cough, asthma, and pulmonary tuberculosis. Blackberry, fruit. Blackberries and their juice quench thirst well and act as a fever-reducing remedy. Strawberry, berries. Dried strawberries are brewed with boiling water and infused. Taken internally as a mild fever-reducing and diuretic remedy. White willow, bark. 1 teaspoon of dried, crushed bark per 2 glasses of boiling water. Wrap and infuse for 4 hours, strain. Used as a fever-reducing, diaphoretic, and anti-inflammatory remedy. The bark infusion is also used externally as a gargle for mouth and throat inflammations. Red clover, oval purple heads, herb. 3 teaspoons of dried herb per glass of boiling water. Wrap and infuse for 1 hour, strain. Take a quarter cup 4 times a day, 20 minutes before meals. Used to reduce fever in feverish conditions, colds, and headaches. Infuse the herb along with flowers. Common cranberry, berries. In folk medicine, cranberry juice with honey is taken for coughs. Juice diluted with water is used as a fever-reducing and fever-relieving remedy for illnesses accompanied by fever. Stinging nettle, leaf. 1 tablespoon of dried, crushed leaves per glass of boiling water. Wrap and infuse for 1 hour, strain. Take 1 tablespoon 3 to 4 times a day, 30 minutes before meals. Used for colds, as an expectorant and antipyretic remedy. Liquid tea made from nettle flowers is drunk for shortness of breath and coughs, to help expectoration and dissolve phlegm. Greater burdock, leaves. 1 tablespoon of crushed leaves per 1 cup of boiling water. Infuse, wrapped, for 1 hour, then strain. Take 1 tablespoon 4 to 6 times a day, 1 hour after meals, as an antipyretic, fever-reducing, remedy. Common raspberry, berries. 2 tablespoons of dried berries steeped in 1 cup of boiling water. Infuse, wrapped, for 20 to 30 minutes. Drink hot at night, 1 to 2 cups, you can add honey. In both scientific and folk medicine, dried raspberries are used as a strong diaphoretic, sweat-inducing, and antipyretic for colds in the form of a hot infusion. Aspen, buds. 1 tablespoon of buds per 1 cup of boiling water. Infuse, wrapped, for 1 hour, then strain. Take 1 tablespoon 3 times a day. Used for colds as a diaphoretic, anti-inflammatory, pain-relieving, and fever-reducing agent. Cultivated parsnip, herb and roots. A. 1 teaspoon of chopped roots per 1 cup of water. Boil for 15 minutes on low heat, infuse for 20 minutes, then strain. Take 1 tablespoon 4 to 6 times a day before meals. B. 1 tablespoon of leaves per 1 cup of water. Boil for 10 minutes, infuse wrapped for 1 hour, then strain. Take the same way. Used for cold-related fevers and coughs to soothe and promote phlegm discharge. Common tansy, flowers. 1 tablespoon of flower heads in 500 g of cooled boiled water. Infuse for 4 hours, then strain. Take 1/3 cup 2 to 3 times a day, 20 minutes before meals. Used as an antipyretic, anti-inflammatory, analgesic, antimicrobial, for headaches and fevers. Red currant, berries. The juice quenches thirst, relieves nausea, suppresses vomiting, and stimulates intestinal peristalsis. Red currant juice increases sweating and urination, promoting the excretion of salts with urine. Black poplar, cottonwood, buds. 2 teaspoons of poplar buds per 1 cup of boiling water. Infuse, wrapped, for 2 hours, then strain. Take 1 tablespoon 3 to 4 times a day as an antipyretic, emollient, anti-inflammatory, pain-relieving, and calming remedy. Mulberry, leaves. 1 tablespoon of leaves per 1 cup of boiling water. Infuse, wrapped, for 1 hour, then strain. Take 1 to 2 tablespoons 3 to 4 times a day before meals as a fever-reducing remedy in febrile conditions. Disruption of thermoregulation. If the body has become chilled with a beginning runny nose or headache, but without a fever, the following steps should be taken. Take a warm hot bath, preferably with mustard, 100 g of dry mustard for an adult's bath, and for a child, the dose is 2 to 10 times smaller, depending on the child's age. If taking a bath is not possible, you can soak your feet in hot water, preferably with mustard, 2 tablespoons of mustard powder per bucket of water. If the head is chilled, it is recommended to wash it in warm hot water, dry it thoroughly, and wrap it in a dry, warm towel for 2 to 3 hours. Potato, broth. If your hands are chilled, dip them into the broth in which potatoes were cooked. After taking the bath or after steaming your hands or feet, you should take one of the following drinks. Tea. Brew some strong tea and drink a glass of hot tea. You can add a little wine, vodka, and honey to it. Bitter, silver, wormwood, plant. Infuse the herb in vodka or alcohol in a dark cabinet for 2 weeks. Strain and squeeze. Take 20 g once a day for a cold or initial signs of a cold. Do not take for more than 2 to 3 days. Vodka, honey. For 70 to 100 g of vodka, the dose is individual, add 1 tablespoon of honey. Stir and take the entire dose right after the bath. You can add a little black pepper powder, the tip of a knife, to this mixture. Instead of vodka, you can use wine with honey. The recipe with vodka and honey is suitable for people with a healthy body and strong heart in case of being chilled or having a cold. Some people slightly warm the vodka before drinking.